Good morning. We're still in the morning hours. It seems like I've been working since about 4 o'clock this morning. So now it seems like it should be around 2 in the afternoon. Welcome. And today we'll be talking with Sherry Morisch with Spotlight Around Town. And I will let Sherry tell us a little bit about herself and then just kind of work right into describing your business.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Sherry Morisch, and I own Spotlight Around Town. It was founded as a public service, community service effort. I have a background in education, technology, and business. My MBA is in business and information technology. So I've used a lot of those skills and resources to build something that I'm trying to build right now. I have a couple of birds, 2 cats, a husband, and we live in Malala, Oregon. I've been at this social media management business stuff for a little over 10 years, going on 12. And that's pretty much it. I have a networking event every month, not right now. This one got canceled, but we are having an interview with our Spotlight company. So that's about what I have right now.
Awesome. Well, how did you decide to get in this type of business, Sherry?
So as I wrote a little bit in a bio, I finished my MBA and wanted to expand my friends because I was living by myself in Poulsbo, and I didn't really know many people. So I started going to networking events. I found a lady named Mary West through a news article on the Kitsap Sun, and I reached out to her and asked her about what she does for networking. And she invited me to one of the events, and I actually met her at the next event. She took me under her wing. I met Valerie Harris of Veris Marketing at that time, and there you have it. I started meeting all of these small business owners. I didn't realize at the time most of them were MLM. But I started meeting these small business owners, and I wondered how many people didn't know about them, because I'd been doing Facebook posting and stuff for the Naval Postgraduate School for a couple of years by this time, promoting that organization for nuclear trained officers. And I came across Valerie, and then I wondered how many people didn't know about these small businesses. So I set up a Facebook page called Spotlight Around Town, which looked much different than it does now. And I just started sharing posts from small businesses all over Kitsap County. And it became quite popular very quickly. But in 2013, I had to move back to Portland, a number of different reasons. And I lost everything. I lost all my contacts. I did some learning in the beginning about how to post and where to post and when, and don't flood people's feeds and all of this stuff, all the newbie stuff, right? So when I moved back to Portland, I lost all my contacts because this face-to-face, actually in person, is so important. And I didn't necessarily grasp that idea at the time. So in moving back to Portland, it took me a few years to get kind of settled and in a place where I could actually do this again. So September of last year, I finally felt comfortable in reigniting Spotlight Around Town, and we started having networking meetings. And I have the Spotlight, you were one at one point, I have the Spotlight Around Town business owner come to my networking meeting and explain their business to a group of people that we collect during that month. And I advertise for them throughout the month on social media, on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, now I'm starting to do it through lives, and I'm thinking about expanding the YouTube channel to interviews too.
Oh, fun.
That's in the wings coming. Awesome.
Good stuff. Well, so you really shared a lot with in the introduction of the company of basically, how long have you been in business, and why you chose this business. So I guess my next question would be, as far as competitors, do you even have competitors?
Yeah. Okay. So when I started this out, people were saying, you can compete with the chambers. well, that's an idea. And then I had a few chamber people saying no. And so now I'm more like, because it's a branding awareness and connecting site, and eventually I'll have, you have actually been a tremendous help to some tools that will be coming down the road. Eventually there will be a site that where business owners can connect with each other via online resources. But it's more, I'm trying to make it a brand awareness business magazine. So a mix between SBA.gov, PDX Pipeline. PDX Pipeline is one of my biggest, the biggest person I want to compete with in the near future.
I actually get their emails all the time, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
They're wonderful. So
yeah,
it
they're
would
great.
be awesome to compete against them. They have a vast reach. They're very integrated into the community. They offer job listings, business listings. They promote for people. They have ads. And these are things that I really want to build Spotlight into.
That's awesome. That is really awesome. I've known a few people who have started like you are, and they've grown their brand and they've done really well. I have a gal that I know in the tech industry who is in HR. She's an HR director, and she's started an HR network that has went crazy. I mean, I think everybody in Portland is in it. So it's pretty incredible. And then she decided finally to branch out and build a website and stuff. So it's cool. And she posts jobs on it and stuff. And then she gets sponsors. So in order to have a job up, you have to be a sponsor and pay for it, which is great because you can do the same thing. And that helps you.
Yeah.
So it actually pays for all your hard work, which is important eventually that, you know, you get paid for all that hard work. So good direction. So where do you see the spotlight around town in the next year?
So in the next year, I want to expand on the networking element and the YouTube element. I want it to be a fully integrated online and in-person experience for both the business owners and their customers. And my daughter brought that up, actually. She says, well, how are you going to broadcast to the business's customers? And at first I'm thinking on my end, that's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is you, the business owner, and making you look in the best light possible. And I need those business owners who don't have websites or have old websites and they want a page that's modern and new and connects to all of their online resources, right? But she's right, because to advertise for you, I need to know who your customers are. I need to know who they are, where they are. And so it's basically building a mini strategy, a mini marketing strategy for everybody on my website. And as the website grows, as I get more people having pages, creating pages on the website, I'll need team members. So I look to hire at least 2 or 3 people by the end of the year, if not in the next 18 months. And I'm working on a business plan and funding for that right now. So
awesome.
That's where I'm going to at least have a couple of employees.
You're a busy girl. So who do you get your advice from?
You and some other people. I'm going through a business greenhouse right now for the fundamentals, like the EIN, the BIN, and a lot of the government employer stuff. But for strategy and for whining and asking for help, people like you, Kathy Rasmussen, my friend Mary West, Valerie, and a number of other people. And then I follow people on LinkedIn. Dennis, and you'll forgive me, I can't pronounce it, as Kowalski, I think is his last name. He's a superstar on LinkedIn. I've spoken and had interviews with him, and he helps me periodically. And then I just watch people.
Yeah, that's great.
And I reach out to Pixie Adams, huge help. And there's a number of people that help me.
That's awesome. So my next question was, do you have employees? But I think we already know the answer to that.
Not yet.
Coming soon.
Yes.
So you mentioned knowing who my customers are, because as a customer to you, you knowing who my customers are, that's who we ultimately we want to reach them.
Right.
So, but as far as your customer goes, what does your customer look like?
So my customer looks like somebody, an artist, an author, a small business owner, even a mid-sized business owner who really just wants to expand their reach, right? They buy a page, or they hire me to do their social media, or or I have interviews with them. I reach out to them. There are people who just want to basically expand their reach and have more of an online presence than what they may have already. Because, you know, a lot of business owners, small business owners especially, they're so, well, you know this for yourself. They're just so bogged down, and they don't have the time, resources, or necessarily knowledge to build an online presence that's productive for them. I'm talking with a guy right now who I'll be talking with later today. He actually works for a larger company. In fact, I have a client that I just brought on who works for a mortgage company. I'm going to help him build his online presence, not for the mortgage company that he's a part of, but for him. So he can bring in clients and have them experience the mortgage online, his mortgage tools as they are, and it'll be easier for him to get customers, is what I'm trying to say.
No, that's great. No, it makes total sense. I love it. I'm thinking about how we can work closer together as you're talking. So that's great. You're bringing up all kinds of ideas. Sorry, I had a visitor sneak in my door, and he's sneaking back out right now. So hold on one sec. I'm going to close this door.
Yeah. The guy I'm talking to,
smart cat. He knows how to open doors.
The guy I'm talking to this afternoon, it works actually with a veteran-owned organization, and what I'm trying to do is help him build his personal as a brand, and that's where I'm going. So we'll give him a Facebook page. I'm going to give him the tools that he needs to build his personal brand with that organization.
Awesome. That's great. Okay, so in your business, are there any ethical concerns?
Many. Copyright, working with the business owner, messaging, right? So I have to make sure my messaging is within their ethical background or their industry background. Like this month, it's my financial girlfriend. So the way I
love Lisa.
Aren't they wonderful? I am not a financial professional. I do not work in that industry. So my ethical issue there is correctly pronouncing how it needs to be, the message needs to be, right? Instead of saying a banker or a financial person, it needs to be licensed financial professional.
Right.
Or
very technical in that industry.
Exactly. Or in any industry, you have your specific mandates that you need to.
Did you hear that? Okay, hold on one second. I apologize. I have never had this problem before, but he decides that if I'm doing something and I close the door, he wants in.
Is that your dog?
It's a cat.
Oh, your cat. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I missed.
And he literally will put his paw under the door and run it along the door, scratching it as loud as he can until it drives me nuts. And then I get up and open the door. So he's interesting.
He might be a good prop for your videos.
I can't believe he's not in here. I opened the door and now he ran away. It's like, are you kidding me? So cats, they just love to mess with you. That's the bottom line.
I love them.
So what are the biggest issues in running your business?
Time and money.
What have you come across?
Time and money. The same issues anybody else has. I have a tech savvy that means I don't necessarily need as much money. And I have scheduling tools, which means I don't need as much time, but I do. Really, because you have to create content, you have to do your lives, your videos, you have to have these interviews. working on creating a space for networking events. That's a whole issue in itself, and getting all the prep and your announcements and time and money.
Yeah. Wow. We all wish we had more of that. And right now, probably more than ever. And I just, I would like to take just a second and say, it was funny. I walked to the mailbox yesterday and I turned around and I looked up and there was this giant star in the sky, the only one. I mean, it was so big. I had to stare at it and make sure it wasn't moving. It wasn't a plane, but it was a star. And I just thought, wow, if there was ever a moment where I could say, I wish upon a star, my wish today is that the whole earth be rid of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Boy, I wish I would have woke up this morning and that star would have granted my wish, because it was weird that it was there because it was still light outside. So,
but another way to think of that, and I'm going to really try not to sound insensitive, because this is a really horrible period in our history, right? But it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for small business owners to really dig in and start learning about the technology at their fingertips that can make their lives so much easier. That's you have efficiency tools at your disposal right now that you may not have thought to use in the past.
Well, and you probably have a lot of time to educate yourself on them right now. Or you can call somebody like Sherry and have her to help educate you. So what do you see your business like in the future?
An online magazine. I used to try to, hi babies. I used to try to figure out how, because there's an Adobe has an application. I still haven't been able to figure out which one it is, but they have an application where it actually turns the pages. It actually turns the pages, and I envisioned my site to be like that at some point. I don't know if I'll go there now, but it's going to encompass different segments of business, restaurants, business services. Cindy Hooker has Gold Dog Consulting, and she's a most recent client. She has a page. I'm envisioning it as a digital phone book.
That's super cool.
Only prettier.
Well, if it's anything like your logo, I love your logo. It's beautiful.
Kathy made that.
I know. She's good. I mean, literally, she made our logo when we first partnered. She made that logo and she showed it to me the morning she did. I got a little teary-eyed. I was like, wow, that just hits it, the nail on the head. And she was like, really? And I'm like, yes, it's perfect. When I saw yours, I was like, I love the colors. I love the message. I love how it's laid out. It's just beautiful. So
she needs to continue doing
that.
Just saying. The universe. Anyway.
So, is there anything I haven't asked you that you'd like people to know?
Off the top of my head, no. I'd like to ask, how is we doing?
We're doing good. It's growing. It's a learning experience always, when you have, like you said, small business and an opportunity to learn tools and learn, how to, grow your business and find ways to market it and social media. And I've learned so much over the last couple of years having the We. But there are a lot of groups out there. And ultimately, when I started I started it for the small business person in mind, kind of like you did with Spotlight Around Town. Mm-hmm. It's very, very similar idea, only mine was more a virtual, a virtual meeting and a place for people to go post their information so people could find them, but on a Facebook group page. So, it had a little different spin on it. I don't foresee it ever being a gigantic nationwide, more along the lines of like the mob or something like that. But I would say we've done well with the really strong members that we have, and the Facebook group page will be there forever, and it will always be free, obviously.
Yep.
And I will always, the thing that I really enjoy right now, and this is not about me, so I'm going to stop talking in 2 seconds, but the two things I love is I love the VIP Spotlight member that we're doing on the Women Empowered.
That is cool.
Yep. We'll do that every week, and it's only for paid members. So we have 19 paid members. We've had a few one-year membership giveaways along the way. So 19 people will be rotated every week on a weekly basis, and will constantly be out there. So you're going to be next week, either you or you. And we'll post your photo, and we'll post all about you. And then that will go out on Instagram, and we'll have it set up so it goes out constantly for a whole week. So it's just a form of advertising. It's free to you. Our hope is that it drives people to you and lets people know what you do. So,
right.
You know, it's we're there for sure.
It's a great service. Definitely a great add-on for your community, for sure.
Yeah. And then I do have interviews.
I do have one last thing to send out to the universe and to you and your group. Something that you've asked a couple times, and I kind of avoided it because I'm not sure how it will work, and I still have to pin some things down. But at some point in the future, I want Spotlight, and I envisioned this years ago, I want Spotlight to be in different communities, right? Mm-hmm. Like right now, I'm doing Clackamas County, and I was up in Kitsap County. I'm still integrating Kitsap County here and there where I can. I want a person dedicated to each community. So it'll be Spotlight around town Clackamas, Spotlight around town Kitsap, Spotlight around town Eugene, Spotlight around town Salem. Then maybe go in states, Spotlight around town, because that was something else I was bouncing around. Maybe states, Spotlight around town California, New York, Tennessee. So eventually I do want to franchise this, but again, that's the 5 to 10 year plan.
Yeah. Well, that's great. It's good to have a plan.
It's you never know. The people. It's finding the people that are committed to and have the internal want to share the value of businesses in their community. And that's not easy to find.
I actually love doing that. I think that if there was, let's just say, it's funny because around Eugene, I have looked around and thought, gosh, it'd be really fun if, somebody did go around and just interview businesses like every day. That was your job. You just Monday through Friday, interview businesses and then put them on a spotlight. I mean, it would be free. Well, could be free advertising, but there's a lot of things that you can think to do with that. But yeah, that's really, when I first started Women Empowered, I was going to different locations, and especially people who were just starting out, like Vitality Bowl here in Eugene. I felt like, she's just a great person, and I felt like I really wanted to support her and get her name out there. So, I interviewed her and I posted her information on the Wii, and same with Aloma at the Eugene Mine Works. And those are just a few local people who I feel have made a huge impact in our area. And we need to support all the small businesses we can, because they're like 85% of what makes us
tick. They are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Well, and you have to be careful too, because I just don't willy-nilly pick somebody. Mm-hmm. They have to have influence in the community. They have to have a holistic business that they've built. It's something that is them. It's a piece of them, right? So I have criteria, and that's what made it so awesome to have you guys, because what you've built is the foundation of something that I've been trying to build for a long time.
Well, I appreciate that, and I love working together, and it's always good to help your fellow business person. You know, you're up in Portland basically, and I'm down here in Eugene, and just offers us a lot of ways that we can collaborate. So love helping. Yeah, you're a great person too. You were like one of my first people to ever join Women Empowered. You were like number 3, I think. And so you've been there since the beginning, and I appreciate that very, very much. So
it actually has a lot of value. So to the people who are considering, Women Empowered has a ton of value. There are professionals in all sorts of different industries on your Mighty Networks platform. And that's another place I go for advice quite often.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Yeah, that's the private network that's, for paid members only, which is super cool because you get that very solid group of ladies who really work to support each other. And I think that's really important. So
they do.
Well, how can someone find you if they would like to inquire about your services?
So go to spotlightaroundtown.com. I'm also on Facebook, so it's Facebook.com/spotlightaroundtown, LinkedIn and Twitter as well, all the same.
Excellent.
I think Twitter is Spotlight Around, but you put that, I come up.
Gotcha.
And you see that face.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate your time, Sherry, and I really have enjoyed collaborating with you, and I look forward to much, much more and hearing a lot more about Spotlight Around Town too.
Thank you, ma'am. I love watching what you do, and you are an inspiration. So you take care of yourself.
Thank you. You too.